Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last review of the year. We will be, of course, reviewing the Carlton versus GWS game today, where we unfortunately went down 11 goals, 9, 75 plays, GWS 12, 17, few scoring shots, 89. Just first up, what are your boys' thoughts on the game straight up? Jack, what do you think, mate?
It was just good to get the season over and done with, I think. I mean, the result, it didn't really faze me either way. I mean, obviously, we'll go into our review of the predictions. And yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yep, thanks. Ethan, what are your sort of thoughts on the game, mate?
Yeah, a bit of a, usual dead rubber round 23, which are usually the shittest games, even though the games this weekend have been pretty good apart from ours and the Gold Coast game. But yeah, just good to send off Eddie and Levi.
Yep, well said, mate. Pato?
Yeah, very mixed emotions just because, obviously the retirees, Eddie and Levi. But also I thought we actually played okay. But, GWS are a great side. They prove it every single week. I mean, the past 5 or 6 weeks, they're probably arguably the most informed team in the comp. So I think we played okay, but obviously to end the season 2021 with a failed season, very unfortunate.
So we'll go on to our match predictions, see how close we got. Ethan, do you remember what you actually had, mate, or not?
Yep, I had us by 38, I believe. So that was me being optimistic, I said. So we only lost by 14 in the end. Yes, 14, Ethan. But yeah, I guess it was, like Mitch said before, a bit of a mix of emotions. Not really thinking about the result as much because it's just Levi and Eddie's last game. So who really cares about the result?
Well, yeah, exactly right. I mean, we wouldn't be saying that if we were playing for finals, but obviously we're not. So it's good to see Eddie and Levi go out in somewhat a respectable game, not a 95-point thrashing. Jack, do you remember what you had, mate?
Yeah, speaking of that 95-point thrashing, I was fully expecting another repeat of that. I went Giants by 78, so I'm very, very thankful that it was not that much. Although it was kind of looking a little scary that way when they kicked 6 in a row. I thought it was Port Adelaide game all over again. But 14 points. Send Eddie and Levi off, not completely, embarrassed. That's, it's all good.
All right, that's enough from the GWS. Two GWS supporters. Pato, what did you have, mate?
I banked the Blue Baggers. I had them by 12. Obviously, love my boys. Thought that we may have lifted. We did lift, but 14 points, still very disappointing. But yeah, as I said, mixed emotions, and just watching a dead rubber every single year, round 23, it's just shit. It's just really shit.
Yeah. I guess for me, my predictions were Blues by 2, so obviously I didn't get it. Curtino and Eddie for 8. I can almost say that I meant Ed Curtino, and I'd be only 2 goals off, but I did beat Charlie. Obviously, Ed kicked 4, and then Ed Curtino kicked 4, and then Eddie Betts kicked 2. So good to see him get a couple of goals in his last game. I think for me, anyway, last week, the first quarter we're playing good. It's patches. That's the thing, and I think we probably played our good footy for a bit longer than what we usually do, especially what we did last week. That was the first quarter, and that's about all we had. But we're a bit more somewhat consistent, I guess. But yeah, all right, we'll get to our best moments. Pato, what did you have for your best moments, mate?
I had Levi and Eddie both kicking goals. I believe they both kicked 2 goals. Yeah, so they both kicked 2 goals. I feel like that was great to see. I feel like they were aiming for Levi a little bit more. Charlie Curtino didn't touch it much. But I feel like it was good to see Levi get a couple, and also Eddie when he kicked that final goal. You can tell that was going to be his final goal. So, great to see. It was good to see the boys get around him, even though we were going to lose a game. It was good to see the boys get around him.
Well said, mate. Jack, what'd you have, mate?
Yeah, I mean, very similar to Pato, just Eddie and Levi's goals. I think in that sort of game, their send-off, just for them to both, as Pato said, kick 2 goals, I think that was pretty special. Obviously, it would have been special to get the win, but, them kick goals and Levi get the double cobra out again, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. Daff, What was your best moments, mate?
I agree with these boys. Just Casboult doing the double cobra. Just brought a smile to my face, and pretty doom and gloom year. So yeah, that was my best moment.
Pato, me and Pato are both giving us one. You want to give us one, mate, or not? Double cobra. Okay, here we go. Speech. You're up, mate. Not much to show off for you two boys. That's unfortunately. My best moment was a bit more. You probably wouldn't notice it. You probably would notice when you're watching live. You wouldn't think of it afterwards. Only because I went back and sort of watched the first half. Is the kick from Newman when he was kicking out from a kicking, and he straight to the corridor. McGovern sort of switched, ran, I guess, towards the centre of the ground, kicked it. He kicked it. Then McGovern got it, kicked it to Ed Curtino, I believe. It eventuated in nothing, but it could have very easily been coast to coast, like three or four kicks to goal. But just straight to the corridor, opposed to, I don't know, I feel like when Wiedering kicks out, I'm not bagging Wiedering by any stretch, but we're always going to the, which I guess is how they play now, but always going to the boundary all the time. But like just through the corridor, okay, you can't do that all the time, obviously. But I think they used it very well, and it's a great kick. So yeah, go back and watch it. But yeah, also Durden as well to get his first goal was good. He had for the game, I think, but to get his first goal was pretty good. It says boys get around him. Corey Durden's first goal in Eddie Betts' last game. So
yeah, no, that was really good to see. That was really good to see. But also on the kick out, that's actually spot on, because what I noticed on the Friday night game, Western Bulldogs v Port, Bulldogs, every single time they took a kick in, they actually had players sprinting to the corridor wing side, and they had like a Caleb Daniel or like a Bailey Dale kicking it out. And when they kick that target, they're out. And I feel like we actually, not many times. What it was.
Yeah, I think Gov was sort of, I don't know if he's unmanned, but his man was at least a few metres off, and he was running towards the sort of the half forward wing sort of area, and then he sort of did switch, and I think that just the synergy. Like he must have he just knew that, and Newman kicked it straight, a few metres in front of him, turned and took a pretty easy mark, and was sort of out there. Again, it eventuated in nothing in the end, but could have been something pretty special. But is what it is. We'll get on to our worst moments now. What did you have for your worst moments, Ethan?
Yeah, just lapses again. We just seem to have lapses of concentration. I'm not going to pick out any players. It's all across the board. But, yeah, just every week we just seem to have a patch where we struggle to get the footy, we struggle to win a clearance, and then when we lose the ball, struggle to defensively in the transition. So, yeah, just lapses for me.
I think just touching on that, the worst part is we sort of know it's coming. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, we're a few guys up here. Yeah, that's good. Like you don't get overexcited now because it's not good. It's sad, but like they're gonna get the better of us in the second or third quarter and kick a few goals in a row. And I think they kicked how many in a row there in the end?
6.
Six.
So you sort of, I don't know why, but you always feel like that's coming. But yeah, I don't know. Speech, what were your worst moments, mate?
I hinted at it in the preview about Whitfield. No one went near him last time we played him. And so we did a good job of covering him, I thought. But instead of him having space, it was Cal Ward this time. No one went near him the entire game. It wasn't until Eddie Betts gave him a hug after the game. I think it was the closest anyone went near him the entire game. So that was a little disappointing that Ward, as good as a player as he is, obviously full credit to him, but it was just a little embarrassing that, he had all the time and space he wanted all game.
Yeah, no, good mate. Pato.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. That's actually spot on. But I also just thought I would add on. I think I said the same last week, but just the skill errors. Like fuck. Just really disappointing. Once again, and I feel like that probably cost us because yes, that's probably part of the conversion. And we just couldn't convert, especially in our first quarter when we just couldn't score what we should. I think Durham was. I think it was Dwayne Russell, whoever was commentating, and he actually said like the Blues should be further in front, and that it happens a lot. Like it happens a lot with us. We just can't. Yeah, and we just can't convert, and it's unfortunate. But that's my worst moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like it does seem to be a very consistent theme in terms of like we get a few goals up, but you get the feeling we could be that extra few goals up. Whether it's not even whether it's scoring shots, just whether it's missed opportunities, like maybe potentially the Newman one, kick out to Gov to Ed, and then sort of not eventuating nothing there. It's using your I guess your opportunities better and just capitalising, because especially against good teams, they will make you pay. So my worst moment, it's not really a moment, it's sort of a worst stat, I guess. We had 1 tackle inside our forward 50 compared to 19. It's pretty significant. And that 1 tackle, does anyone know who it was?
Fish.
Yeah, Zach Fisher. So again, we're not going to pick out one player, but he laid 1 tackle, but you get the feeling he's probably could lay a couple more. But there's a few players that 1 tackle inside forward 50 to 19 is a pretty significant margin. But as we say every week, it's always one area we need to improve on. It changes every week. Like the few weeks ago, I think we were pretty even for tackles inside the forward 50, or maybe ahead, and then now it's dropped off. It's just very inconsistent. But we'll see what happens next year. All right, beautiful. So moving on to our top 3 players for the match for Carlton, not GWS. Pato, what do you got for us, mate?
So I had Curtino best on ground. Bog. I thought he was terrific. I feel like that pretty much shows why he got a contract for next year. Second, I had Sam Walsh. He just keeps on. What's the saying? Keeps on giving. I don't even know what the saying is, he's a gun. Lock for all Australian. I think we said that probably like round 15 or 14. And third, I had Liam Stocker. I do want your thoughts on this, boys. I'll just quickly have a quick rant. So I thought that so he got 23 touches. He seemed to change with the role with Nick Newman. So Nick Newman seemed to go a little bit more deeper, and Liam Stocker looked to have a little bit more freedom through the ground. And we did mention how in the Melbourne game, how he did play in the midfield. And I feel like that's a good thing to see going into preseason if it's something to work with. But what were your thoughts on Liam Stocker's game, Duff? What did you think about his game?
Yeah, like we were talking about before, we filmed. I'm not saying he is like skill-based like Luke Hodge, but his penetrating kick really works. It really works out. I think Nick Newman's more of that pinpoint kick, that more of a kick out, little switches, little, 45s. But yeah, no, I really like him down there. And I think we should still give him a go in the middle, maybe next year at some point. But if he's playing well down there and we've got the midfield stock, then we'll be all right.
Speech? I can totally agree. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I think you pretty much both hit the nail on the head. I mean, even his defensive work. I mean, obviously it's not his strength, but it's just his physicality that he brings down there to sometimes a weak back line. Just his aggression, I think, really helps the back six down there as well.
Sammy?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's all been said. Yeah, I agree with what Ethan and Jack said.
Bang.
All right, beautiful. Daff, what are your top 3, mate?
Yeah, very similar. I've got Ed Curtino, number 1, kicking 4, which equaled his career high. He had a fantastic game. He's just everywhere, Ed. It's pretty funny. He's just like, he's down back, he's up forward, he's in the middle. Like, he's just all over the place. He's just a workhorse. 2, I had Nick Newman. He had a fair bit of it. 27 touches at a pretty high efficiency, 89%.
Shit.
So 21 kicks. So it's pretty handy. And 3, I had Liam Stocker as well. He just the impact he has. He doesn't necessarily have to hit, pinpoint kicks, but if he gets that meters gain going for us, I think we'll have more forward entries and more opportunities to score.
Yep, beautiful, mate. Speech, what do you have for us, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I had number 1 and 2. Ed Curtino and Nick Newman. I think it both already been said. Not much else I can add to that. And then I did have Walshy as my 3rd. I just think he had to battle the De Boer tag early, and then when Cripps went off, he still had a big mountain to carry and to lift. He didn't have a normal impact as he normally would, but I still think to come out with 29 touches despite all the attention, I think was pretty good. And then also just to Wiedering as well, with he had to juggle between Himmelberg and Hogan the whole game. I think it was really tough for him, but I think he did quite a good job despite that as well.
Yeah, he's solid leaders.
Yep, Beautiful. I'll get your thoughts on you mentioned Cripps as well going off. I'll get your thoughts on that in a second. I'll go my top three. So you basically mirroring all you blokes. So Ed Curtino, 4 goals, and still got 25 disposals, which is cool. Newman, 27 disposals, as you said, 21 of them kicks, and he still used it at 89%, which is pretty good. He was the leader in meters gained, 677. He also took 9 marks as well. My third, though, I had TDK. 32 hitouts and 5 tackles. Plus, obviously, he went off, with a minute or two to go, which, we hope he's going to be all right. But to be fair, it was a great mark, and it was good to see, I guess, there's nothing on the line, a minute or two to go. The agent been calling it a dead rubber, and he's still flying for the ball, which is, some would say silly, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm all for it. He flew for the ball. You love to see that. Even when the game basically means nothing, we're still playing. It's Eddie Betts' last game. It still means something and whatever. So just to see him flying for the ball was pretty good. Plus to have 32 hitouts and 5 tackles was pretty happy for the big boy. All right, I'll get your opinion now on Patrick Cripps as well, just before we get into everyone's favourite part of the show. Patrick Cripps, so he didn't kick the ball, obviously. He got subbed off. When did he get subbed off? Second quarter, third? When was it?
I think it was third.
Late in the third, yeah.
Late in the third, yeah. And so, but if we say 3 quarters of football and didn't have a kick, what is sort of, he's obviously had negative 3 meters gained. What is with that? So I think potentially someone, he might have said that he had a sore foot. I don't know, just judging by the comment on Facebook. But David Teague said he had an issue with his thigh on his opposite leg. So there's no reason why he shouldn't have been able to kick it. And it's not the first time either, to be fair. He usually ends up with a few kicks, but he certainly always does look to give it to the person running past. And sometimes that's for the better. When it's Adam Sard, he can go and, bang it into the forward 50. But sometimes I see when he handballed it, I don't know if I saw this right, but it seemed like they ran into trouble and ended up being worse off for it. So what are your guys' sort of thoughts and opinion on that? We'll go with you, Ethan.
Yeah, I agree. It's good when you can bring in players like Sard and Stocker into the game through the middle of the ground, but there's a time and a place for it. Teams are just going to, if he keeps doing that, teams are going to predict what he's doing every time.
Yeah.
You win a free kick in the middle and you give it off all the time. I don't really get it. Because he had a fair bit of it. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
He finds the footy and, he's a beast like that, but he's got I don't reckon even it's an injury. He just opts to handle it all the time. It's like a ruckman. I think it was the most ever since Shane Mumford in 2016 or something. So
yeah, is it a confidence thing in the terms of he's worried on turn it over? Has his kicking been pretty bad in the past? I can't remember that, but where he's sort of not too confident to kick it, he wants to get the handball off all the time. I don't know, Jack, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times where, the only option was to handball. So I think a fair few of those, you can't say, kick the ball when, he's in tight. But the ones where he had free kicks or whatever in the middle, to not even look to kick at all, it is a little concerning. I don't know. I know you said Teague said there was no injury-wise that prevented him from kicking, but I don't know. It just seems really weird to me that, as I said, maybe it's a confidence thing. I don't know. To not even look to kick, in 3 quarters of footy, it's for a captain of our club, it is a little concerning. But all his contested work was brilliant, and inside was brilliant. It's just concerning that he didn't even look to kick.
Exactly. There's a few times, especially one moment that stands out on the boundary where he got the handball out. Obviously, as you're on the ground, you're not going to kick it. So I get all that, but it's more for me, as you said, it's when he's in the middle. I think he might have got a free kick to start the game as well, didn't he?
Yep.
And then it's not even look forward, Charlie could be by himself or whatever. It's not even that. Who's running past?
Yeah.
And I think we used to do it. Am I right in saying we used to do it with sort of Zach Tui a bit? Obviously a bit different. We used to do it to Zach Tui when someone was 50 out. They'd always give it to Tui, and he'd always kick a pretty good goal usually. But it's sort of, I guess, I don't know, as you say, they're going to find that out. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to just shut it down. So, Mitch, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Thanks,
I don't really know why, because this guy was a first round draft pick. Obviously he can kick the footy if he's that high of a draft pick, and you had to see 0 kicks, 17 handballs. Fuck, you don't see that often. But it's just the times when you kind of just see it, and it's different if you see Sard running and you have an open space. But as you said, he handballs it over to a Stocker or a Williamson or a Sard, and he runs straight into a Giants player because they know that he's going to do it. So Yeah,
It's
so
gonna-
I don't. Yeah, so I'm not too sure why that is, because like I mean, we all know that he's a gun player. We all know that he's proved himself to be such a star of the game. But yeah, it's a weird one to see 17 handballs as an like it's just unless that was an injury. But if he's injured, we said it a few months ago when he was injured. If he's injured, he's not playing.
Especially now as well.
I don't think it's an injury.
Now.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was an injury either.
It's
but
definitely a mental thing. He's been
Yeah.
playing with it for most of the year. I think just the way he plays seems to be how he kind of, I don't know, like he plays within his strengths, and then sometimes he plays out of the box. It's like it's a bit all over the joint this year. He's got to find that like middle area where he's playing at his best while playing within his strengths, not trying too much, which he's done way too many times this year. We love Cripper, but yeah.
Yeah, I also could also say just on Pato, you can always count on Pato to drop the first F-bomb. I think we're up to 2 so far this episode, but that's good. Anything else to talk about before we move on to the favourite?
Let's move on to the speak up, Speechly.
Mate, he's already introed you. Speak up, Speechly. Take us away, mate. Take us away.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say I'm just so thankful that the season is over. Like the last 6 weeks, it was just painful to sit through. Like obviously we love the club, but everything off field, on field, it was painful to sit through. So I'm just glad it's over, and then we can hopefully get all the crappy Teague, out the door, all these players out the way in the next few days. Unfortunately, I don't want Teague to leave, but that's a whole different can of worms. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. Season's over. But I think this off-season, we talked about last off-season being, was like the big off-season. I think this one's even bigger. I think we need to fix all the holes off the field and then fix all the holes on the field. It's just a whole lot to deal with this off-season, I reckon. What do you boys reckon on that?
So on that,
Hold speak up speech, you're not whisper speech. So come on, mate, fire up. How do you know that?
Don't know the energy, mate.
Sorry. But so actually in the holes that we need to fill, Speechly, what is the first few things that come to mind?
For me, it's key stocks like ruckman, key backs. Like we saw how much we struggled when Liam's gone down. So we need, Kemp can only feel so much for, with the build he is. So I think we definitely need, to fill the keys. I don't know about you guys.
Any names?
Any names? In terms of...
I couldn't tell you any names. Just anyone. I literally couldn't care.
Yeah.
Well, Marc Pitnet, is he playing next year? I assume he is.
Yes. Yeah.
So with him and TDK, I don't know. Do you see Marc Pitnet being able to fill that sort of key ruck position with TDK maybe? I don't know. I understand he's running a second ruck. So...
I don't think he can play them both. That's the problem with Pitto. I don't think his forward craft's good enough.
Is TDK's forward craft good enough though?
Well, it probably is. It's probably better than Pitto's, I reckon, in my opinion. I know he's kicking his goal kicking, but he can work on that. He's just more agile than Pitto. Pitto's a bit of an old style ruckman where, a bit of body. But one name that comes to my mind for a ruck stock is Peter Laddams. I don't know what his contract situation is, but he hits the scoreboard report. And he's actually he causes mismatches up there because having Charlie, Georgiades, and a few of the other forwards, having those guys, it really causes a mismatch. And I think, if you have a Pete Laddams going up forward or a TDK going up forward, and you got Charlie and Harry up forward, really, that's impressive. Another F-bomb.
We said about F-bombs, and nothing's made up for it. More than made up for it. Anything else from you, Jack?
No, just happy the season's over. Yep.
Happy? All right. I was going to say, we talked about it last week. Obviously, this episode we're filming, mid-afternoon on what's today? Sunday. So, Sunday. To be fair, if this goes out, what time is this going to go out, Pato?
Hopefully tonight, if not Monday night.
Because, we could realistically, if this is out tomorrow night, we're talking, as we sit here right now, David Teague is coach of Carlton. As this could go out Monday night, and literally, I firmly believe in the next sort of 36 hours he could be sacked. You'd imagine it's going to happen tomorrow, being Monday, if it's going to happen. If it is the case, we won't farewell him yet because he's still the coach. But in the season review, we'll probably mention a little bit. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But it's looking very likely that David Teague won't be coaching us next year. So we've pretty much covered it all the last few weeks. So everyone sort of knows our thoughts on it, I guess, as a collective and as individuals. But
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, best and fairest winner of the club, and he's sort of, I feel he's been treated a bit.
Yeah.
If you're going to stat the bloke and get rid of him, fair enough. But this way he's been treated, I don't think it's been very good.
Yeah, that's
yeah, like it hurts a bit more just because he played for us. He's barely said best and fairest winner. So yeah, all right. Anything else to add, boys?
That's all. That's all from me.
Obviously, last review of the year. Season's over. Probably not the season we would have wanted or would have, we're hoping for. But the next few weeks, obviously, we'll release our season review. We'll have to go back and look through the season, which will be hard to do because it wasn't the best season. But a few good wins in there. And if you're not already, follow us on all the platforms that Pato will put some links in the description. That's all good. Then yeah. Thanks for watching, and it's been a good year, I guess. It's been a good year filming with you boys, so thank you very much.
Yes, that's what I actually.
Here we go.
I do have something to say.
He's building up.
I mean, of course, we started in, I think, May or something. I think the first episode we had was the game before the Hawthorn game, and I feel like we're going pretty well for so far, boys. I feel like it's mostly just because we're all mates and we feel like it's kind of like more of a podcast that we kind of just come on and speak our words. And of course, you have to have some sort of structure. But hopefully, we will be back next year, hopefully, if all goes to plan. But so just wanted to say that. And yes.
It's unfortunate we're in lockdown. I can't go get a massage because my shoulders are hurting for carrying you blokes throughout the season.
Oh, here we go.
But also, I just want to add, Baggers Chat, Pokes on the Footy, but Jack and I.
Wait.
Podcast coming soon, mate. I've got the summer hat here. There's always this one, focus on the summer. It's cricket season now, so if you're not already, Around the Wicket on Instagram, Jack's in charge of that. So Pat, I'll put a link in the description.
Will do, mate.
He's a good bloke, so get around us and get around us. Mitchell and Ethan can't make it because they wouldn't know the onside to the offside, so they unfortunately can't be on the podcast. But thanks for a good year, boys, and as always.
Go Tigers!